Hello, this is Robert Smigel with Canada's podcast, coming to you today from Web Summit Conference in Vancouver. Amy Hill, our guest today, is a competition law officer and the competition from the Competition Bureau of Canada, where she focuses on compliance and outreach, helping businesses understand and comply with competition rules. Today, we wanted to touch base on a timely topic. The Competition Bureau recently issued a strong warning to businesses about the serious consequences of colluding to win public contracts. This is important. There's a lot of entrepreneurs here, so they should be listening. Then we're going to talk about your experience here at the conference. Okay, so Amy, thanks so much for coming on Canada's podcast today here at Vancouver Web Summit. This is your first Web Summit?
This is actually my second Web Summit, Robert. So I'm back again, and our team has been, when it used to be Collusion in Toronto as well, we would go. So
yeah.
We're big fans of the event, and it's great to be here, and great to be here on Canada's podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Okay. Competition Bureau warning. Let's talk about that. Amy, the Competition Bureau recently warned that colluding to win public contracts like bid rigging or price fixing can lead to heavy fines, maybe even up to 14 years in prison and debarment. What should Canadian companies at Web Summit Vancouver know about this? And why is the Bureau raising the issue now?
Yeah, great question, Robert. So as you may have seen in the news, the Government of Canada is introducing some major investments along with a Buy Canadian policy. And this will create public procurement opportunities for domestic companies at all levels of government across the country. Our concern and our focus at the Bureau is about protecting competition so that everyone gets a fair shot at these new opportunities. We're maximizing the use of taxpayer dollars, and Canadians and Canadian businesses get to benefit from competitive markets. So the alert that you just mentioned is just that. It's a reminder to businesses about the law related to bid rigging and collusion. And the message at the end of the day is pretty simple. When bidding for public contracts, playing fair, it's a legal obligation. It's not a choice for businesses. There's also a lot of opportunities for businesses, and we just want to make sure they're staying compliant with the law and they're aware of it.
Okay, let's get practical. Give us some practical advice for businesses. For entrepreneurs, there's a lot of them here, as you can see. Bidding on government contracts, what are the most common mistakes that can lead to illegal collusion? What practical steps can they take to stay compliant?
Yeah, another great question, and something I'm very passionate about talking to businesses about. So maybe before I get to a practical tip, I'll take it a step back.
Okay.
So we mentioned that the Bureau is responsible for the bid rigging provisions. What is bid rigging? Bid rigging is when two or more persons come together to either secretly agree on how they will bid for a tender or who will win the tender. And it's that secret part that's really important to the offense. So these agreements are done without the tendering authority having knowledge that the businesses are working together. So if we're thinking about practical steps for businesses who want to take advantage of these exciting opportunities or any procurement opportunity, one thing is if you're going to work with another business, maybe you're forming a joint venture, for example, you want to be explicit and transparent with the tendering authority that you are working together from the get-go. And as far as other practical steps, I'll talk to you quickly about some of our resources because we have lots of free resources for businesses. So this is
how someone needs to find out the details, or their legal department needs to contact some resource to find out exactly what this means.
Yes, like what do I as a business need to know about the law? We have free resources for them. So the first one is our Compliance Hub. The Compliance Hub has kind of two parts. The first is it walks businesses through how to make a compliance program. A compliance program is a set of policies and procedures that will allow the business to manage its risks and ensure that it's on the right side of the law. As far as that education piece, what does bid rigging mean? What is deceptive marketing, for example, which is also under our mandate? The hub includes a series of bootcamp videos. Each one's like 5 minutes long on the different areas of competition law. So businesses can use them to learn about the law, or they can use them to train their employees. So if you have a marketing department, they can watch the deceptive marketing video. We love a hub at the Bureau. So we also have a procurement hub, which brings together all of the resources for businesses related to procurement so that they can make sure they're running fair, compliant bids. Because at the end of the day, we have this public interest mandate to make sure that businesses are not only aware of the law so they can comply with it, But just as importantly, so that they know when to reach out to us if they're having an issue in the market with competition and they want to talk to us about it.
Okay, no, so the legal department will obviously understand it, but with the marketing department, have you laid it out pretty easy for them so that it's not kind of above their head type of thing?
Yeah, the resources are all plain language meant for anyone to be able to understand them. So if you're an entrepreneur starting your business and you're not sure where to start, the Compliance Hub is a great resource for you to just figure out where to go.
Okay, good. Let's talk about AI. It seems to be the topic, especially here at Web Summit Vancouver. With AI so prevalent now in our daily lives, what are some of the things that you and the Competition Bureau have to keep an eye out for? Like, what are the things that you do and look for, especially when it comes to bad actors, and how are you preparing for this?
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time thinking about AI and competition at the Bureau. On the people side of things, we actually added a whole new branch to the organization about 3 years ago called our Digital Intelligence and Enforcement Branch. And the goal of that branch is to make sure we have the skills, the tools, the knowledge to be able to enforce the Competition Act in the digital economy. And they also help with our promotion work. So a lot of folks aren't aware that we also have a competition promotion mandate. And speaking of promotion, we did a consultation on algorithmic pricing last year. Through the consultation, we were seeking to understand kind of how algorithmic pricing is being used in Canada and how it's impacting competition. What are the risks and what are the opportunities in Canada? And you can find a report online that goes through what we heard in that consultation. But I'll flag one concern that we did hear from the market, and that's concerns around algorithmic pricing being used to exploit consumers on essential goods like grocery, gas, education, and more. And affordability is a major focus for us right now at the Bureau. And we're targeting our efforts both on the enforcement side and on the promotion side, where they'll have the biggest impact on affordability for Canadians. And going back to your question around AI, understanding how AI can impact affordability, whether it's algorithmic pricing or otherwise, as far as competition goes, is a part of that work.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit here. Let's talk about Web Summit Vancouver and how's it been going so far for you? I mean, have you got meetings? Are you just kind of doing discovery? Are you just seeing what's out there? What's your mission and what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm here roaming free around today. Part of the work here is meeting with the other ecosystem partners that support businesses and finding ways to partner to make sure we're all getting our resources to the businesses who need them. I've also had the opportunity to talk to businesses firsthand and hear about the challenges that they're facing in the market on the ground when it comes to competing and share those resources that we have for them as well. And I think I saw this last year as well. This event really shows off the strength of the ecosystem in Vancouver. I mentioned all those great ecosystem supports, but also all the amazing startups. And then we have this global presence here as well. I saw the Italians had returned. I saw Korea, Japan. So it's a really neat event to show off our strong local ecosystem, but also the global presence that we have.
And our great culture.
Absolutely.
And diversity.
And food.
And the list goes on.
Absolutely.
Okay, any key takeaways? Is there anything that, obviously they've talked about AI and things like that, but innovation, competition, regulation, or from the Canadian startup ecosystem? Is there anything that's kind of gone, particularly in Canada, that's caught your eye?
Yeah, I think this year, as well as last year, what really blows me away whenever I come here is how quickly things are evolving, especially as you mentioned with AI and new digital tools. It's been really neat to pop down and chat to the startups and hear how they're continuing to build on that momentum and adjust the tools to what the market needs as AI evolves. And they're really focused on real practical applications, how the technology can be used, and then also how it can support market entry of other companies, for example. So my key takeaway from the event is just the pace of change and how important it is for us at the Bureau to also keep up with that change. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's moving quick.
It is.
Okay, crystal ball question. 1 year from now, if we're going to sit down here, 1 year from now, what are your goals, outcomes, and accomplishments for both the Competition Bureau and for you personally? Anything that's standing out in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I love goal setting, so this is a great question. I guess on the work side of things, I would really like to see us continue to expand our tools for businesses, whether that be making them more accessible or maybe expanding digital tools. this year we released our compliance starter pack in 6 other non-official languages so that we could reach communities in the language of their choice. So I'm hoping we'll continue at the Bureau to build on that momentum. From a more global perspective, thinking of the Canadian economy, you might have seen in the budget that there was a whole of government approach to competition announced. So I'm really excited to see where that goes in the next year.
Great. Okay. 1 year, and we'll be back here and we'll see how that looks like for you.
Sounds good.
Great. Okay. Amy, thank you for coming on Canada's podcast. I've learned a lot about you and your journey, and I'm sure our listeners have as well. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me, Robert.